All right, my people, this is part two of if someone or something rubs us the wrong way. Maybe the way that we've been rubbed wasn't wrong. Maybe the way we've been rubbed was intended to rub us into the right direction of change. We discussed it a little bit in part one, part two, same type of conversation, but being a minimalist. A minimalist is an individual that he or she that only chooses to interact with individuals and ideas and experience inside their comfort zone. See, I can control it. There's power plays that we execute that we are unaware of because I can be a boss in my profession, but a boss manager is a person or supervisor that finds themselves managing and that's in control. People are continually coming to them for answers, he or she, and unless that person has a sense of awareness on how to code switch, I'm not a boss at the house. I'm a dad. I'm a husband. There is leadership in me, but it's not magnified when I'm at home. When I'm at home, I'm just me. But that's the dynamic that we all have to be aware of because we operate in it knowingly and unknowingly. We operate it consciously and sometimes subconsciously. That brings us into our comfort zone, and the comfort zone is poisonous. It's very similar to carbon monoxide where you can't see it. We can't touch it, nor can we taste it, but it is there. And it's interrupted when we find ourselves in conflict with another party. So when we find ourselves in conflict with another party, what we have to do first and foremost is to assess ourselves. See, what we do is that we assess the person. Pause. We assess the conversation. Pause. We assess where this conversation is coming from. Pause. Let me first assess myself and my perception of it. Let me get understanding from where that person is speaking from. I think sometimes that we meditate and ruminate on a situation so much that when we find ourselves in the conversations, the autopilot is running. The autopilot is a program. It's an automated system of thought, which is connected, which is basically our belief. Our belief manifests from our experience, the perception, and the interpretation of these past experiences. And when we collected the data, we legitimized the data, and the transition of the data manifests into a belief system. And when the conflict comes, the autopilot is running, and the autopilot experienced turbulence. Turbulence means that a conversation that was had, a thought that was shared, an experience that a person reflected to you is contrary to your belief system. That rubs us the wrong way, but it's in the right way of change, transformation, authentication, actualization of me realizing who I am. So I would give you this. We have to be intentional. We have to be intentional. The other statement that I'm gazing at my notes because I want to make sure that this is applicable, but also impactful to your individual lives and the lives that you have been called to influence and impact. Pause. Your freedom, the liberty that we're supposed to inherit it, the liberty that has been set up for us to obtain cannot be obtained and it cannot be realized in isolation. It cannot be realized in a controlled environment. It cannot be realized in our controlled interaction with individuals that we know inside, not in my mind, but in my heart and in my spirit that I need to interact with this person because this person pushes the envelope. This person rubs me the wrong way. This person pushes me in the path of the greatest resistance so I can birth transformative change in my life and impact my kids, and impact my society, and impact my workplace. The question that I will leave you with is this: is it the person that's pushing you? Or is it the mentality or the belief system that you have that's contrary to the truth that that person carries within them? Is it the person that's really pushing you? Which it can be. But in reality, is it the truth that resides and abides inside of that individual that contradicts your belief system, the perception of who you are, and the value system that you hold? Maybe we should let go and trust and believe that it's meant for us to go to that next phase. But in order to legitimately go, we have to grow before you go. And that growth takes place when people rub us in the wrong direction. But the wrong direction may be the right direction that needs to take place, and that can present a pathway for change.